Here we go. What is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Today, we're diving into a topic that everybody requires because injuries transpire in the NFL to a position like running backs. And the running backs, man, there's a big topic going on about running backs being underpaid and undervalued. So what are we talking? Running back handcuffs, the best running back handcuffs potentially this season. And I mean, it's a big laundry list. We understand how many of these running backs do possess value in NFL fantasy football. It's huge, man. You got to double back on of your top running backs because injuries do happen. And I mean, it could happen to a lot of these guys. Before we get started, we got to talk about an interesting trend that I did find over the past 3 years. It is, worth mentioning because we all know the NFL is a passing league. How they're saying it. However, the trend for more rushing attempts seems to be trying to balance itself out and bringing that balance back, okay? And I know everyone's going to have the argument suggesting, yes, the NFL does play another regular season game. Yes, there are a lot of quarterbacks that do run the football these days. I completely understand. But in 2020, only 3 teams reached 500 rush attempts. In 2021, only 4 teams hit that threshold of 500 attempts or more. Last season, we saw 10 clubs start going back to the ground game, reaching over 500 attempts with a top, I believe, of 599. So you got to understand, NFL teams are starting to look for that balance, especially with nickel packages being a lot of base defenses these days. They're going to try to exploit that in the run game, which means not only in running back committee sets and rushing quarterbacks with high upside, the rushing attempts are starting to pile up, which means these top-end running backs could get bruised and battered that much more, and the dedication to the run is definitely showcasing and turning its head in the NFL, which I love because we could have more running in 2023, which means these handcuffs are going to be that much more important. First one I got is Eli Mitchell. If we're talking about my handcuffs this season, I think Eli's got a massive boat of upside. 2 seasons in his NFL career, he's done very well. 16 games, 252 for 1242 and 7 rushing touchdowns. Yes, he has dealt with some injuries. Yes, the 49ers didn't like what they saw in his rookie season due to those injuries, so they got themselves Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, clearly the different dimension in this offense. He is the lead back, no kidding. Eli only did play in 5 games last year due to injuries, which is his problem and his concern thus far in his NFL career. He did, however, prove that he can be a great complementary back to a Christian McCaffrey, and I don't foresee this changing in the Kyle Shanahan offense whatsoever, man. Team attempts for the 49ers averaging over the last 2 years over 500 attempts. You gotta love the rushing ability that this 49ers team does possess under Kyle Shanahan, and they will continue, man. In 2021, mind you, going back to his rookie season for Eli Mitchell, he still possessed a boom consistency rate of 60%. That is very good for a rookie. Almost cracked that 1,000-yard mark. He is a very good running back, and he will have his days where he is going to take touches. And if Christian McCaffrey, who did play his first full season in the last 3, mind you, if Christian does go down with an injury, you know they're going to be leaning upon an Eli Mitchell. He is a massive handcuff, ADP 41, hovering around the 12th round right now, and I don't foresee much competition with a Mason or Davis Price at this point. If he can stay healthy, Eli Mitchell is definitely a great handcuff to grab, man. Next one I got is my guy, Tank Bixby. I've been talking up Tank a lot this offseason to you guys here on this channel. I am a huge supporter of the man, the up-and-coming squad of these Jaguars under Coach Doug Peterson. I mean, he showed that they will challenge for the AFC South crown here in 2023. This Jags team is starting to get put together with a Trevor Lawrence, lifting his game to another plateau. We know that they're going to be adding pieces like a Tank Bixby to help round out this squad and be more balanced, man. Having only 392 rush attempts in 2021, the Jags, up that mark by 56 rush attempts this past year in 2022, while adding Tank Bixby to help aid spell a Travis Etienne. Even though you guys know I'm a massive Travis Etienne supporter, Bixby is the perfect complement to the speed back like a Travis Etienne. Peterson is also no stranger to having multi-back sets and running the ball lot like we saw in his days with the Philadelphia Eagles. Tank has he had a great collegiate career. I'm not even kidding around, man. Almost 3,000 yards on 540 touches and 25 touchdowns. Goal line upside may be key for a Tank Bixby. I got the stat line from his collegiate career on the board here because he hasn't played it down in the NFL just yet, but this is what you're getting from a Tank Bixby. He is a big body, put together running back. He doesn't necessarily have the breakaway wheels. He is working on his hands. We're hearing lots of good stuff about the Jags coaching staff up in his hands, saying that he's improving every single day, and massive goal line upside could be here for him as they could potentially split carries up to about the 65-35 range early on, and it may even out as the year does move forward. Tank is an absolute potential gem for fantasy football matchup play, and if Etienne goes down, you could have yourself another running back one on your hands here. No kidding about that, man. We got next one on the board is Jerome Ford, Cleveland Browns. Okay, and the Brownies, they're going to get Deshaun Watson to start the year week 1 this season. No suspension for this man looming, which will make this offensive punch be out the gates that much more plentiful. However, we do understand Nick Chubb is the guy. He is one of the most consistent running backs in all of fantasy football. You're not going to take the bread out of this man's mouth because he is that guy. He is the dog. And I mean, he's going to take his spot back as the workhorse back for Cleveland once again this year. However, the door is open for a Jerome Ford to be that spell back and change of pace back for a Nick Chubb. Now that Kareem Hunt is no longer on the team, Ford didn't see much action last year, and we know this, man. 8 for 12 yards, no touchdowns. There was not a lot of work to go around for a Jerome Ford. However, he is a very capable running back. He does have home run ability, and I mean, he had his breakout season going back to 2021 in his collegiate career with those Cincinnati Bearcats, rushing 319 times for 1,319 yards and 19 rushing touchdowns. He is a very capable running back. I'm telling y'all, man, there's a reason why the Cleveland Browns felt comfortable letting Kareem Hunt walk on the open market as they had Ford in the waiting. He is the guy ready to take advantage, and there isn't necessarily a lot of, competition in this, running back room at this point with Felton Jr. and Kelly Jr. in the waiting behind a Nick Chubb as well. Jerome Ford has a gorgeous opportunity to be a spell back. And again, if injuries do transpire, which they do to some running backs due to overwork and volume, Jerome Ford could have himself a nice volume share in this Cleveland Browns backfield. 2-year average, obviously 508 rush attempts for the Browns. Kevin Stefanski still loves to run the ball, and he's going to continue to do that. You can snag a Ford roughly around the 15th round right now, as his stock may increase with a great training camp and a preseason. I am huge on a Jerome Ford. I love this man's game. I think he's absolutely put together, but he's got some work to do, obviously, with Nick Chubb being the guy. Next one I got is Zamir Zeus White for the Las Vegas Raiders. And I've been a huge Zeus supporter, huge fan of his. I get it, okay? Zeus didn't have a good rookie season whatsoever. Something like a Jerome Ford, 17 rushes, 70 yards, no touchdowns. They did utilize, Coach McDaniel did utilize all his veterans over the rookie running back this past year, which is understandable. Now Zeus does have another year under his belt. He's going to have another full training camp in preseason. And right now, with all the limited touches that, would potentially come his way with a Josh Jacobs leading the charge, Josh Jacobs right now is flirting with the potential of holding out this season due to the lack of no new contract extension and having to play on that franchise tag, which he does not want to do after they ran Josh Jacobs into the ground last season. You thought he was going to hit the open market. Zamir Zeus White definitely has an opportunity to be in line for massive volume with these Raiders. And let's not forget, man, y'all don't like Zeus. I'm going to tell you what he did at UGA. He was fantastic with the Georgia Bulldogs, rushing to the tune of 382 attempts, 2,043 yards, a nice 5.3 on the average, and 25 rushing touchdowns. Zeus is this guy that you're looking for to be a running back one in this league. Does he have breakaway wheels? No, it's not necessarily part of his game, but he is a capable running back, a big body running back that can bulldoze similarly clearly to how Josh Jacobs does play football. Very like skill sets. Not saying White is the same caliber as a Jacobs, but I'm telling you the same type of skill set does possess here. Now with Jimmy G being the quarterback here in Vegas, you still got Devontae Adams. Rushing upside in this offense should definitely increase with a Jimmy G rather than a Derek Carr, as we know what Jimmy Garoppolo is in this league. We saw what he did with the 49ers. Perhaps a Josh McDaniels does trust Zamir White a little bit more than Abdullah and a Bolden, especially if Josh Jacobs does sit out this year for any stretch. This is massive upside for his Zamir White, especially in the fact you can get him roughly around the 17th to 19th round in ADP right now. It is very, very good. 421 rush attempts for the team is not great. You want to see that uplifted. But again, like I said, with a Jimmy Garoppolo, the passing upside and aptitude may not be as great as it was with a Derek Carr. So this rushing team, or this team could switch over into being a rushing team. I should say it that way. We could see more carries coming from this backfield, man. Last one I got is Zach Charbonnet, my guy. Another one of these running backs that I am huge supportive of is Zach Charbonnet. He was a dynamo in college, man. 566 attempts, 3,346 yards, and a massive 39 touchdowns for this man. He was just a baller back in UCLA. He was unbelievable. But how, okay, fine. We're going to go back and say, damn you, Pete Carroll. This is where I'm angry because Pete Carroll goes and drafts another true three-down running back for this team, knowing you had a guy like Kenneth Walker III as the lead dog. Why would you do this to us? Pete, we got enough troubles when it comes to our running backs, and you got to go and draft yourself another three-down running back to complement a Kenneth Walker. Fine. Is Kenneth Walker still going to be the lead dog? Highly likely. However, Charbonnet has supreme talent and upside where he could, basically be the indication where the Hawks do plan to split touches with Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet to give this fabulous 1-2 punch. We could see something to the tune of 60-40 split carries, Walker to Charbonnet. I would not be surprised whatsoever in this respect at all, man. Carroll does deserve a heap of credit for how he has rebuilt this team. So, even if Walker does march down the field, we're going to see this a lot. He takes the majority of the touches early on. Charbonnet still will have that upside as being that goal line back, as he's proven 39 rushing touchdowns in college. He is going to get in that end zone basically 9.5 times out of 10. He is that good on the goal line. Passing upside, however, could bring the running game back a little bit, knowing that you got DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith-Njigba, another rookie that they just drafted here. So there is going to be a lot of passing upside with a Geno Smith. How does this impact this running game? So we're going to have to understand within the first 4 weeks how this offense is going to move forward. But Pete Carroll always has been the run-first mentality, the run-first head coach, having to set up the play-action pass for his quarterback, knowing Geno Smith operates extremely well in the play-action pass. The two-year average for these Seattle Seahawks in the rushing upside was not great. It's 419 for team attempts in that average over 2 years, but they weren't very good. We have to put a caveat on that as well. They were struggling a lot on the offensive side. Now they've rebuilt this team quite a bit. They do look a lot better. Now you got passing upside for days, which is going to alleviate a lot of stacked boxes in this team. Charbonnet is probably one of the better rookies right now. His value rests around the 8th to 10th round. He is running back 40, and it is definitely warranted, knowing that you got Kenneth Walker III potentially splitting with DJ Dallas and another rookie in McIntosh, another UGA product. He is on the club. He is more of that receiving back, James White type of running back. He should not challenge much in this first year in this backfield right now. But if Kenneth Walker does go down, I am telling you right now, you have an instant running back one with potential top 15 upside. And at the running back position, all hands are for Zach Charbonnet to be that guy and that trusted commodity in a Pete Carroll offense. But there you have it. That is 5 running backs who are potential handcuff gems this season. Running backs go down. We know this, man, and especially, like I said, with all the running backs being supremely agitated with not getting paid the big dollars that they do believe they deserve, I'm on their side as well. They need to be paid handsomely for what they do, especially the elite running backs in this league. But there's 5 handcuffs for you that we definitely got to keep tabs on during training camp and the preseason because they could be big-time ballers for your fantasy team. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts. What are you guys thinking about this list? You like any of these running backs? You in on any of these running backs to be your handcuff sitting on your bench in the waiting? Let me know. Throw them in the comments. We could talk it out. But we'll see you next time. I am out.